Greetings everyone after a long break for the NSSR Cup Series, Truck Series, and Bush Series. This week we are truck racing at Dirt Daytona. This week we've got at least 4 newcomers to the series. It's going to be quite exciting. Okay, I've got everything set up. I have my phone playing in the background so I can check chat. I've never run a race on Dirt Daytona before, so I don't know what we've got in store for us, but it'll be exciting, that's for
touch
sure.
All your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Huge shout out to Gavin Legend for hooking me up with this track. He's been playing around with it some, and I think he can vouch for the track to actually run decently. So as with the race today, once the dirt race finishes, all the crew members or the track crew is going to go out there, tear out all the dirt, and then they're going to race again tomorrow on the pavement. Some of our newcomers include the 00 of Jack Ross, the number 08 of Al Bunch, as well as the number 135 of Brandon Petrolski. Our field is well rounded out at 30 drivers total, and the season started just about a month ago with only 22 for the inaugural first race of the season. I stand corrected. We have 29 on the roster. I was getting ahead of myself there. It'd been nice to have 30. 29 is still much upgraded from the first race of the season, that's for sure. So it looks like our pole sitter so far belongs to Luis Rodriguez, John Brinker, Tim Cording, Paulo Ladino, and Kellen Oakley to start out your top 5. Newcomer Brandon Petrolski sitting solid in 6th. Tristan Reams looking to rebound after a rough couple weeks. So for Columbia Clothing, their special will be whoever finishes dead last in a race come back to win the next race. Our driver that finished dead last last week was William Kinsella Jr. So if he can somehow manage to pull it off and win the race today,
make sure you get everything like you want.
he will earn the sponsor of Columbia. And so with no further ado, let's get this race on the road.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
This is very much going to be a trial here because I don't know how the trucks will actually drive in the dirt. Hopefully it all goes well. Front row, as mentioned earlier, Luis Rodriguez and John Brinker, Tim Cording and Paul Ladino,
Oh yeah, I got you loud.
and then you got Kellen Oakley and Brandon Petrolski. Visibility is going to be it's going to be hard visibility for these drivers today, as it's going to be one big cloud of dust. And the green flag is dropped, as it looks like Luis Rodriguez might be able to get off to the early lead here, but Tim Cording's going to want to try to pass them both on the inside. Of course, the inside lane is going to prevail here, and the other trucks got stuck in the high groove with all the marbles, and that dropped them all the way to the back. Kellen Oakley wants to take an early lead here. Jack Ross in the 00, late last minute entry for today, sitting in 4th right now. And we got William Kinsella Jr. popping into the top 5 here, as Luis Rodriguez drops back another spot. 3 wide for the lead, and Tristan Reams looks like he's going to prevail. Right now it looks like Kinsella's kind of stuck in the hornet's nest in the middle there. Cooler heads prevail, and they fall back into 2 file, double wide. Jessica Hergeson's out front leading. The number 08 of, I believe that is Al Bunch. Yeah, Al Bunch, his first race of the series. As we've got James Robert to the lead now, with Tim Cording following right behind, and Maggie Reams now peeking on the inside, trying to get 2nd. So far, there's been a lot of ebb and flow for the lead here today. We have not had any wrecks early, only 3 laps into it so far. And it's going to be hard to keep up with the running order as they are shuffling it every lap. Even though visibility is a concern, it doesn't seem to be slowing any of these drivers down, as they are continuing to race nice and clean out there in the dirt. James Robert currently holds the lead over Nathan Morgan, And then we've got James King working his way into the third place right there. Right now we've got the Battle of the Jameses as they are running 2 and 3 right now. Last week's winner at Indy, Tim Hansen's looking good, running second right now. Taden Berggren running in third, who's been solid week in and week out. This really feels like the calm before the storm because they're keeping it really clean out there. I'm certain we're going to get some sort of a big one yet to come. Krista Cower is now taking the lead with a push from Jessica Hergeson, putting them up 1-2 right now. And Zachary Armstrong has worked his way up into third now, kind of a surprise appearance up front here in the number 68 Sunny D Dodge Ram. Tim Cording gets stuck here on the high side and starts to drop. I think we're seeing the ebb and flow kick in again. Currently 10 laps through the 60 lap event, we've got everyone still out there running. The number 7 of Roland Heidfeld, unfortunately, is about halfway down towards going a lap down. Zach Armstrong has now worked his way into the lead, taking it from Krista Cower. But I would not count James Robert out quite yet because it looks like he's going to take it on this next lap. Matthew Fastnot is peeking into the top here as he's going to try to get the lead away as well. Krista Cower gets high and outside into the wall. Looks like she's going to drop out, hopefully not causing a wreck here. They managed to keep it all safe. Wow, Taden Bergeron's all the way in the back right now. He got shuffled way out. Chadwick, my bad, is having a rough go of it today too so far. Oh, and we do have what looks like a bit of damage on Al Bunch here. Let's see how he got that damage. He gets smashed into the wall. No, he just kissed it. Looks like Nathan Morgan back to the lead again, but Ant Me Person has something to say about that as he's going to take the lead in his brand new Pepsi Challenger paint scheme after finishing back-to-back top fives. Jack Ross is surprisingly looking really good out there. That would be crazy if we had an unsponsored truck win the race. Trevor Walker seems to always find his way up front here. Hopefully he can maintain that for the finish of the race. Ant Me Person is the current points leader, and it's very certain why, as he's always up front running in the top three. Some magic formula they found, because that truck is going to be a hard one to beat all season long. Our first lapper is going to get in the way here, the number 7 of Roland Heidfeld. This will definitely make it difficult. Chadwick has worked his way up to 4th after being roughly outside the top 15 not too long ago. The brothers Walker running both in the top 10 right now, as Trevor's right there behind Jordan. Let's watch the 7 here and see how they maneuver around him. It's looking like Ant Me Person is going to use him as a pick to success and get by with no hassle. The high lane is going to suffer the worst here, it looks like. They're going to have to find a opening in the bottom to get around this mess. This is probably the worst the visibility's been all day so far. Once that lap truck gets in the way, it totally throws everything out of sync. like the 135 of Petrolsky is benefiting the most from this, as he worked his way up to second somehow. Kinsella is still holding strong for that Columbia Outfitters sponsor bid. And Tim Hansen would definitely like to go back-to-back after winning the last race out. It'll only give him an opportunity to catch up to Ant Meeperson as the points leader. Taden Bergeron's working his way back up front here. Looks like he's inside the top 10 again. And not far behind being back into the top 5, actually. Atlee Weiss has been managing to stay mid-pack so far. Seems he's holding off and not showing his cards until the end of the race here. Petrolsky, who was running second, is now cycled right back outside the top 15. One of our front row setters of John Brinker looks like he's having a struggle of a day so far. Doesn't seem like, did we have, so we've got a second pack that is established. The 89 of Gavin Legend, as well as the 96 of David Bird, James King, and Luis Rodriguez, unfortunately. I don't know if they maybe pitted. Let's see if they pitted. I doubt it. That wouldn't be about 30 seconds. It'd be more like a... No, they just simply lost the lead pack is all. It's a shame for our pole setter who started on the pole and dropped all the way to the back. Race is far from over, especially if we get a big one. As long as they stay on the lead lap, they should be good. So currently, Ant Meeperson still holds on for the lead over James Robert. Atlee Weiss has found his way into third place so far. Krista Kauer in fourth. And Al Bunch up to fifth. Then we got John Brinker, Nathan Morgan, Chad Chaswick, Maggie Reams, and Trevor Walker as your top 10. Currently, it looks like they're getting pretty strung out. The packs have kind of started to break up, and single file racing is what it's turning into right here. Likely it's going to end up being green flag pit stops around lap 30 would be my guess. So it looks like Kinsella fell into a second pack, running 18th right now. Tim Hansen unfortunately lost a lot of ground, and he has lost the lead draft. Philip Leeds also in a zip code of his own. And I would watch out for this 4-truck pack. You never know what could happen here. There's still 4 fast trucks here that could potentially, if they got the right lucky strike, work their way back into the top 10. James Robert to the lead now. John Brinker on the inside, 3 wide, as Ant Meeperson starts to fall backwards. I'm wondering if a lot of the trucks do hit the wall enough that it causes damage to the vehicle, or perhaps the fact that they stay in that high groove for too long, they lose the draft. That seems to be the case, actually, as they get in the high groove with all the marbles, and they're actually losing draft on a dirt track, which just sounds crazy. Trevor Walker is now taking the lead on John Brinker, as we have a pretty solid fight here for the front of the field. And crazy enough, Jack Ross is leading his first laps in the series. Must be a good fortune to be a newcomer, as right now we have 2 brand new drivers running. Al Bunch and Jack Ross. Is he gonna get the lead lap here though? Maybe. He'll hold on and lead his first official lap in the series. And I'm gonna go ahead no, it's not how you type it. There we go. So this should give everyone another opportunity to get caught back up to the field. As our mid-race caution, current leader is Krista Cower in the 98, or actually, I'm way off. It's the 18 of Chaz Chadwick. I don't know where Krista Cower dropped off to. I don't even know how I mistook that car. So everyone, the only driver trapped a lap down. Actually, unfortunately, we got 3 drivers that wound up a lap down. Roland Heidfeld, Philip Leeds, and David Bird. Oh, the joys of no visibility on track. Currently, your top 5 are as follows. Chad Chaswick, Jordan Walker, John Brinker, Atlee Weiss, Ant Meeperson, Krista Cower, James Robert, and Maggie Reams, followed by Matthew Fastnot and Jack Ross. Looks like we're going to have just about everyone come down pit road here. This should give them enough gas to go to the end of the race. Does look like we might have someone that's gambling here. Kellen Oakley stays out. as well as Nathan Morgan. These two are going to jump all the way to the lead, due in part to everyone else pitting. As everyone's coming out, it looks like they're trying to figure out and establish the order here in the chaotic dust storm around Daytona. Chaz Chadwick looks like he's going to come out third, as Kellen Oakley will figure out, let's see if he pitted during green, did they make green flag pit stops? So, amazingly enough, there were a few drivers that did come on pit road for green flag pit stops. And Kellen Oakley, as well as Nathan Morgan, I believe. Yep. So they should be good to go to the end as well, as they now hold the 1 and 2 position on track. Pace truck is still out there currently. The lights have not gone off, so they will go another circuit at least before they get the restart. So yeah, Oakley, Morgan, Ladino, and Chadwick. Jordan Walker, John Brinker, Krista Cower, Atlee Weiss, Jack Ross, and Al Bunch sitting in 10th. Then we've got Matthew Fastnot, along with James Robert, Tayden Berggren, Tim Cording, Tristan Reams, Maggie Reams, Jessica Hergeson, Gavin Legend, who's sitting in 18th, Trevor Walker, Ant Meeperson, who's sitting in 20th, James King, Luis Rodriguez, Brandon Petrolsky, then Zach Armstrong, Tim Hansen, William Kinsella Jr., with the lap down traffic of Roland Heidfeld, as well as the 66 of Philip Leeds and David Bird, somewhere in the mixture there. The lights are officially off on the pace truck as they're going to make their next lap around before the caution is lifted. Currently on the front here, we've got the two running to stay on the lead lap of Philip Leeds and David Bird. And then the number 7 of Roland Heidfeld trying to get his 1 lap back. Kellen Oakley lucks in to a late race lead here. Paulo Ladino has definitely got his best position on track right now if he can maintain it. Once they get going, the dust actually kind of settles out so you can see the track better. Seems that when they're going at pace speed, the dust is much worse. The competition caution ultimately ended up hampering a group of drivers, including Atlee Weiss, Ant Me Person, and likely the number 9 of Tim Hansen was actually on the outside. The caution will help him, as well as Luis Rodriguez in the 48. So really, it only hurt Ant Me Person, Atlee Weiss, and maybe Tim Courting the worst. They're back underway here as Nathan Morgan sticks it wide on the inside, getting by Oakley for the lead. Ladino following suit right behind as the two slower traffic is gonna bunch them all up here. Looks like Nathan Morgan's probably gonna get on the inside and get by Roland Heidfeld to keep him trapped a lap down. Philip leads, also lap traffic here. We'll figure, see if Morgan gets around him here. Look at that, Atlee Weiss right back into the top 5 like he didn't miss a beat. Ladino sticking his nose on the inside of Morgan here and didn't get quite enough momentum to get the pass, as we've got a truck in the wall. Philip leads, the number 7 of Roland Heidfeld. They managed to stay wreck-free, and it just gets the lap traffic out of the way for the most part. Al Bunch works his way to the lead here. Taden Berggren back into the top 5. Tim Courting running 4th right now. Unfortunately, David Bird being trapped a lap down there. He's in 27th position, even though he's running 5th in line on the track here. James Robert isn't going to keep that lead for long as Tim Courting wants to get in. Looked like James Robert got a little bit loose in front of him, but there was no contact made. And so now Courting is now to the lead. Taden Berggren got kind of squirrely there. Looks like he dropped out of the top 10. But he might be able to maintain the lead draft here if he's lucky. Still running at 180 miles an hour, so he should be good. Making all the right moves, he can find his way back in the lead in no time. This is definitely a different format for a super speedway, because the draft is there, but if they get even one bit into the marbles up in the high, they lose all momentum. It makes sense because in any dirt track, you don't want to get too high into the cushion on the outside, or else you're going to lose a lot of position out there. Just as our previous leader, James Robert, puts into perspective right there, he's fell outside of the top 20. We still haven't seen a big wreck yet. And it seems that a wreck's a brewing because these guys keep getting into the outside wall. Looks like Gavin Legend's finding his way up to the front here, taking the calculated approach here and only making moves when necessary to avoid any potential danger. Atlee Weiss currently leads over John Brinker, Krista Cower, Zach Armstrong, and Paul Ladino. Brinker, who started out on the front row, has managed to stick around up close all day. Just short of 20 laps to go. We still have a bunch of contenders that'll fight for this win here. Doesn't look like Kinsella is going to make up any ground as he'd lost the draft again. Tatum Bergeron also struggling, having fallen outside. These drivers are going to have to hope for the wreck to happen. Nathan Morgan, who is also up front on this last restart, just on the tail end of the lead draft it looks like. As we got Brandon Petrolsky, James King, Al Bunch, Jack Ross, and then here's the lead pack. Tail end of that would likely be Jordan Walker right here, who's running in 19th. Luis Rodriguez sitting in 17th. Decent recovery after the caution here. But let's look to the front here as we've got some new names peeking into the front again. We've got Tim Hansen working his way to take the lead on Brinker, as well as Ant Me Person, who seems to be ever persistent as an ant going for the sugar on the table. Gavin Legend now into third place as he passes Brinker. And then Tristan Reams, as well as James Robert, who looked like he was going to fall way back, sitting solidly in 6th, working his way into 5th right here. Tim Hansen looking to make 2 for 2 in his last 2 races. We've got a lot of red, white, and blue at the front here for the USA Truck Series. As we get that flow, it looks like we're getting a lot of drivers shuffled out back again. It seems to be about 20 laps will be the standard for once things start to level out as the drivers fall into a single file pattern again. Jordan Walker currently maintains the second pack of cars, who are making up the 11 to 20 bracket right now. Tim Hansen's holding out strong up front right now, as we've got kind of separation, but the rest of them are bunching up in the back here. And that lead pack will get tight once again. Chaz Chadwick settles into second here, as we still haven't seen a single caution brought upon with a wreck yet. So yeah, Tim Hansen over Chadwick, Maggie Reams and Tristan Reams, Tim Cording with Trevor Walker, James Robert, John Brinker, Ant Me Person, Atlee Weiss, Matthew Fastnot, who's worked his way up to 11th here, Gavin Legend, who's sitting 12th right now. Looks like they all converged at the same spot on the track there, but they all settled in a single file. And then the second pack, we've got Jessica Hergeson over Brandon Petrolsky, Jordan Walker, Jack Ross, Krista Cower, Nathan Morgan, Zach Armstrong, Al Bunch, Paulo Ladino, James King, Kellen Oakley, who sits in 22nd. Then we've got Luis Rodriguez, Tayden Berggren, and the number 3 of William Kinsella Jr. The other ones mixed in there were lap down traffic, David Bird, Roland Heidfeld, and Philip Leeds. And every time I do a run through the field, we get a new leader, as Trevor Walker has now worked his way into the lead. John Brinker now over Weiss, and we've got Matthew Fastnot sitting in 3rd right now. I wouldn't count out anyone in this top 10 pack here, as all 11 of these drivers have a solid fight for the win. Gavin Legend is now working his way into 7th here, as he's on the inside of Walker. Ant Me Person, ever persistent, working his way back into the top 10 again. Weiss holding off Fastnot for the moment. It doesn't look like that'll maintain, as Fastnot's got a charge coming on the inside. Maggie Reams always seems to be there every week. As well, as Matthew Fastnot, who seems to keep running up front every week. He did have an unfortunate happening in last week's race, or the last race at Banked Indy, where he was caught up in a wreck not of his making. Maggie Reams now up to 2nd, Gavin Legend up to 3rd. Atlee Weiss with that Dodge power, showing everyone a lesson or two out front. Maggie's going to try to peek on the inside here, and it looks like she's going to succeed in getting the lead. James Robert now in tow with Tristan Reams, who's going to make a pass on his wife here for 3rd place. The outside lane is getting shuffled deep in the back, so the inside lane is where you want to be. They're all trying to set up for the last move of the race, as we still have 12 laps to go. You don't want to be out front and be a sitting duck. A lot of the other packs have lost a few more of their drivers as they've fallen into their own spot on track. This is still definitely the 2nd fastest pack, led right now by Kellen Oakley. But it's all about this lead pack right now, as Tim Hansen currently resides as the leader on it. We've got a lot of drivers trying to calculate their final move, whether that be hold suit, fall to the back, and make one last charge to the front, or just lead every lap he can. If at all possible, it's best to stay on the inside. You don't want to get shuffled to the outside. Amazingly enough, even if the race finishes as is, Ant Me Person will probably still maintain his points lead over the rest of the field. Tim Hansen with 2 back-to-back wins, I don't think will topple Ant Me Person's dominant tear of the first 3 races. So right now, our lead pack lost another driver. It looks like Tristan Reams is going to fall off the lead draft. So it looks like our top 10 rounded out by Gavin Legend, Maggie Reams, Tim Cording, Trevor Walker, John Brinker, Matthew Fastnot, Ant Me Person, Chaz Chadwick, James Robert, and Tim Hansen, who are now catching up to the lap traffic of Berggren, Kinsella, and Lead. This might actually help Tristan Reams get caught back up to the group here, as these guys are going to slow him down exponentially. We might even potentially get some other drivers that are deeper drawn back to the front here. We still got 8 laps to go. All this does is going to shuffle things up yet again here at the front. Looks like Hansen's going to get by the last lap traffic here. Due in part to all this, Tristan Reams is back in tow with the draft. Atlee Weiss, unfortunately, had lost the draft altogether, and he's 9 seconds back, now leader of the 2nd pack of drivers out there. So it's currently Tim Hansen over Brinker, over Courting, and Legend. Then Chaswick, Tristan Reams, who could count his lucky blessings that he was able to catch back up to the draft here, now legitimately has a fighting chance to win this race. Looks like our last lap traffic there got into the wall, putting him out of harm's way from the lead traffic. So this should be the final run here. Everyone's got what they've got. We do have 10 drivers with a fighting chance to win this race. Currently, in the back of that is Trevor Walker. Now passing Tim Courting, putting him back to 10th. You got Gavin Legend in 8th. Unfortunately, Tristan Reams is falling all the way back out again. Seems that his truck struggles when he gets in the pack. Maggie Reams sitting in 7th right now. Man, Gavin Legend's making some hella strong moves at the front here, as he's worked his way into 5th right now, but he's stuck in the middle line here, which is usually a cursing. Matthew Fastnot, unfortunately, looks like he's having troubles again, and that cycles him back to 10th. He's going to lose the lead draft. Short of any lap traffic getting in the way again, which it's likely, but it's not guaranteed that they'll actually catch those guys by the end of the race here. Brinker is going to get by Hansen to take the lead here with 3 laps to go. Trevor Walker looking for redemption as he's had a rough start to the season. His truck literally caught on fire in one of the first races of the season. The Buckeye fire extinguisher truck looking to potentially get its first win of the season here. And there we go. The lap traffic is going to cause a stir at the front yet again. Looks like Walker might actually be able to navigate this pretty smoothly, as Tristan Reams has worked his way up to 2nd. I don't know how he managed to pull that off. Matthew Fastnot is going to have to hope for this to stay like this for quite a while, as he is 7.8 seconds back. I don't see the lap traffic hindering it that long. Tristan Reams here, pulling on the inside of Trevor. And he's going to make the pass and get it done as he takes the lead with the white flag to wave next lap by. You got Reams, Chaswick, Legend, who's now working his way up to 2nd here. Solid run for all these contenders in the top 10. Most of these drivers looking for a solid redemption run. When you got Tristan Reams and Trevor Walker, Gavin Legend, who's only in his 2nd start in the series, had a rough start to his campaign last week, sitting in second right now. Chadwick, who's not had very many great results to show for, will definitely be proud with a third, possibly a fourth, or even a fifth, as it looks like Hansen. But in the meantime, it looks like Tristan Reams is going to cruise to victory here. Gavin Legend coming home in second. Tim Hansen pulling off a slick third. Ant Meatperson finishing fifth. Chad Chaswick finished fourth. The 31 of Walker finished sixth. Tim Cording finished seventh. John Brinker finished eighth. Maggie Reams with a ninth. Matthew Fastnot gets a top 10. Al Bunch finishes 11th. Atlee Weiss finishes 12th. James King finishes 13th. Jordan Walker finishing 14th. Then we've got James Robert finishing in 15th. Kellen Oakley 16th. Zach Armstrong 17th. Paulo Ladino 18th. Jack Ross 19th. The number 8 of Nathan Morgan finishing 20th. Brandon Petrolski 21st. Jessica Hergeson 22nd. Krista Cower 23rd. And then we've got Tayden Berggren 24th. Luis Rodriguez 25th. William Kinsella Jr. 26th. David Bird 27th. And Roland Heidfeld, Philip Leeds rounding out the finishing positions. As for the 00, you will get your paint scheme next week for the Hooters 00 car. It was last minute for this race, so I had to run a blank unsponsored scheme for the race. I will have the rest of the standings and everything else posted before the end of tonight. Everything went flawlessly. I'm glad the track worked out well. It did kind of suck how they shuffled, but even then, most of the time they were still able to make it racy at the front there. Actually, you probably had more people in the lead pack on this than a standard Daytona race at times. 10 drivers fighting for the win. That's still a pretty good showing. As for tomorrow, we will do a 200, if I'm not mistaken, a 200-mile event on the paved Daytona. And then we've got the Busch League running on Thursday. So the hiatus is off. I was off for about 10 days on my trip to Arizona, which was nice. And we will resume our regular scheduled racing with a lot of action on track. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. It makes me so happy to have a following on this. It's definitely much different than what I've done in the past several years with NASCAR Racing 2003. I'm sure Tristan Reams is going to tune in, and he's going to be super excited that him and his wife have both won in the trucks this year.
Did you have that same ignition problem?
So that's a good one. That's a feel-good win right there. The number 29 Wonder Bread truck. So yet again, I thank everyone, and hopefully anyone else that watched it today can tune in tomorrow for the next Daytona race. So have a good night, everyone. Catch you on the flip side.